Hey, hey. Welcome everyone to Inside Alicyn's Wonderland. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know that everybody's just getting connected. I want to say thanks to everybody that's tuning in live. This is Alicyn's Wonderland. Hey guys. And today we have a special guest. I feel like every week it's special, but today more so special because of the story that we're going to get into. Today's guest is Kellen Goff. And Kellen Goff is a voice actor. He's been doing this quite a while, especially since Kellen started his pursuit of voice acting at the ripe age of 13 years old. And Kellen has just built such a really nice career and has a lot of dedicated fans and an amazing community. So I'm super excited to welcome Kellen to the show today. Let's see if he's here. He is. So, ladies and gents, hands together for Kellen Goff. Yay! And for everybody that's just...
Hello?
Hi!
How's it going?
How's it going? Good. I like
Thank
your
you.
headband.
It's to keep the hair up. I haven't gone to a barber in a while. How's it going?
It's going great. That is a story I hear a lot from people. I'm constantly seeing just on my Instagram feed, everybody getting like their first haircut. It's like your baby's first haircut, Everybody's
Right,
like,
yeah,
first haircut in
absolutely.
14 months. What's up?
Well, we just haven't really known if it's safe to do so yet. So I guess soon it will be. I'm on shot 1 of 2, so knock on
You know
wood.
what, Kellen, I kind of like what you have going on. Maybe you just want to roll with it.
Maybe for as long as it stays this long.
Do you know what's funny? I think I have that same headband. Is it like a galaxy
Really?
print?
Yeah, it is.
Oh my God, I have that same headband.
Really, you
I should
got
have worn it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We could have been headband bros.
Next time we'll coordinate outfits.
Next time.
Next time. So
Yeah.
we're just recording something. I'm sure you probably can't tell us what you're recording, but are you in your
No.
booth?
I can get in my booth right now, actually.
Ooh.
Now I'm in my booth.
Ooh,
Easy
show
enough,
us a little
right?
BTS. Ooh, that's
Yeah,
jazzy.
isn't it? It changes
Kind of
colors
disco.
too.
What was
Yeah,
that?
a little bit. It changes colors as well.
Can we
Here,
see it?
if I can find the remote. It's around
Wow.
here somewhere.
And for
Kind of
anyone that's
messy at
just
the
listening
moment.
to the audio version of this podcast, Kellen has just entered his soundproof booth. It has some
Yes.
cool square acoustic paneling that looks kind of like, he's in a 1970s discotheque.
Is that what it looks like? I'll take your word
You have
for it. I've always wanted to go, but I have never found. I don't think. Oh, I'm sorry. They're only this color for now. I don't know where the remote went for them, but
oh, it's,
yeah, this is the setup, and it's not connected right now. But here's the booth computer right there, and here's all the inner workings, and this is where it all happens,
that's where
right
the
through
magic
there.
happens.
Yeah,
You record in a Neumann TLM 103.
that's the one.
Nice. And who's your little green guy?
Oh, that's Trico. I have a bunch of Poke plushies in here. I love Pokemon. Little C
Oh,
Dot keeping me company too.
fantastic. Um,
Yeah.
so how are you feeling? Was your session heavy on the screaming or was it pretty mild today?
I mean, it was cartoony, so and very slapstick, so there's a lot of those cartoony screams, but I placed them in a place where it never hurts me.
Nice.
So it was a-okay.
Nice.
Um, but those sessions that are like really gravelly, screamy, like Diavolo, for instance, those took it out of me, man. But hey, that's what you got to do sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So can we kind of tell everybody how we sort of met? Because I don't think, have we even met like in real life? I mean, we've been
I
connected
don't
for a long
I
time,
don't
but
know. I
I
don't
don't,
know if we've met in real life. Maybe I could have sworn we met for like one lunch once or something. But
yeah,
we definitely have had phone calls. My dad actually introduced us through a mutual friend. Um, he sort of said, "Hey, this is a working voice actress, and she's really talented and stuff, and she's open to giving advice." So little baby Kellen was like, "Alicyn, do you know how to get into this stuff?"
Come here,
And you
young man.
were
Sit down. Come to the Wonderland.
and you were kind enough to here. I'm going to sit down. You were kind enough to have a phone call or two with me to tell me what I was doing right and wrong and where to go from there, and it was invaluable. And now I'm here.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say, over the 15 or so years that I've been doing VO, very rarely do I have someone, I mean, I have people ask me for advice on how to break in a voiceover every week. But very rarely do I have people that continue to check in, follow up, and then I get to see their career blossom. And there was even a few years where I hadn't heard from you, and then I just was like, oh, damn, check out Kellen. Like, it's so cool to see how your career has come about. And I was
Thank
curious
you.
if we could kind of start by chatting kind of about like what kind of kid you were as a child
Oh boy.
and what you were into.
Well, I was I have autism. I have Asperger's, and growing up like that wasn't too easy because I never really knew what everybody else like. I never really had a sense of normal, so it was a lot of guesswork back then. But I found my community online, like so many people now still today, but it was a bit younger back then. YouTube wasn't owned by Google yet, far away from that. And we were well, first I was an animator, but I couldn't really have the patience for that. That program, Flash is what we used, and it crashed so much back in the day. I'm sure, I don't know if it's much better now, but I digress. From there, we did, well, the thing that really stuck was we would take video games and then sort of puppeteer them and
Yeah.
then voice over them and edit them, like, afterwards and make them into stories. And that there was a whole community for that. That was the early starts of machinima, with Super Smash Bros. Brawl and Halo. And
So wait,
from there,
how old were you at the time where you were kind of getting into all this?
12, 13, around
Oh,
there.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, early stuff.
Wow.
Uh, uh, a very, very dangerous time to be on the internet, especially back then. There are a bit more safeguards now.
Uh-huh.
But now, from there, I really liked to. I was already sort of liking the acting stuff. I did school theater and all of that musical stuff. Um, and I was the one that people sort of came to be like, hey, could you do a voice in this? Could you do a voice for him? But it sort of evolved from there to be like, I like building my own worlds, but I like building worlds with other people more, with visionaries especially. I love chatting with visionaries. Um, so I wanted to do more of that, and the natural next place to go was voice acting.
Yeah.
And so I started practicing that about that young. At 16, I was lucky enough to be accepted into Bob Bergen's workshop,
Were you,
which is rare for a minor.
yeah, were
Sorry,
you
what?
the only kid that young taking the workshop?
I was the youngest kid to ever take his workshop. I don't know if that's changed since then, because that was back in, let's see, if I was 16. Oh man, that must have been 2008 or 9. Yeah, so maybe since then younger people have taken it, but
Yeah.
it was again my dad who emailed him to ask him to let me be in his class. I love my dad. He is
Let's talk about your
so
dad for a sec.
sure.
Because yeah, I mean, I think first of all, I didn't even know you had Asperger's. I think
No?
No, I think that's, I mean, it's so amazing to see, and can serve. I mean, first of all, the community and everybody online in the Asperger's community, I've connected with so many people and have been so inspired by all the stories I've heard.
For
So I think
sure.
you're serving as a great role model that you really can make your dreams come true, even um,
I
with
really appreciate that.
challenges that may present. And second of all, I think it's so awesome that you had such a big supporter in your dad. And I was
Yeah,
wondering, do you think that played a big role in who you are today?
of course. Yeah, well, he has the same thing. So I sort of learned how to take the next steps from him, and talking to people, realizing what makes people comfortable and uncomfortable, and trying to sway more towards comfortable. But
You got to mix it up
if
every
I
once in a
can,
while. You don't
if
want
I
people to
can,
feel too comfy.
yeah. Sometimes uncomfortable is what makes the best comedy.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's just kind in everything he does, and he's my hero. I've always wanted to be like him, and he's always supported my journey in voice acting, and I'm really thankful that he's been the one to help me along this path. And plus, he has all these. He's been in the entertainment industry since he was 30, maybe earlier. So like he has always known the right avenues to go down, and sort of steered me in the right direction. So I'm very grateful for him.
Is your dad in the arts as well? Is he a performer and artist?
No, he is very much left side brain where I am right. He is an entertainment lawyer and a producer now. But, different sides of the glass, sort of. We help each other understand the perspectives of the people we work with, since we're both now, educated in our fields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great. And are you involved in any kind of organizations that give back in terms of
Um,
autism or Asperger's?
I have held charity live streams in the past for AANE, which is the Autism Asperger's. I forget the NE, but it's a foundation to sort of adults with autism, sort of help them find work and everything, away from discrimination and all that. So I actually did a JoJo live stream with the main cast of Golden Wind, which is the season that we're in. And we played Jackbox for a bit. It was a lot of fun.
Ah,
Um,
that's so great.
and we raised about 5 grand or 3 grand for that. So I want to do something like that again very soon.
Oh, wow. Well, keep us posted how we can help, either sharing the word or getting however we can help, keep us posted.
Just remember that we're no different. We're just wired we just look at the world differently, but all we want is to be treated like people.
Yeah.
Especially young. That shapes us for the rest of
Mhm.
for our lives. So
Did you
yeah.
have any, did you find you had experiences growing up where you were not treated well?
Oh yeah. Nothing. Kids are cruel. I'd rather not go into the
Yeah.
specifics of
Yeah.
it, but especially, I mean, as time goes along, I'm sure that kids are becoming more and more understanding, but
Yeah.
middle school is sort of when the tribal instinct kicks in, and everybody goes into their separate groups and looks for the people to call outcasts to make it easier for them to choose who they trust. And I only understood that way later, but I wish that I could go back and tell myself that none of that was going to matter.
Yeah.
You won't know these people in when you're out there doing what you want to do, and uh, they're have had peaked already. So, and it's yeah. I mean, everybody's different, but like, treasure those who are nice to you, and just let it go when people are, you know, bad to you. You don't need that in your life.
Absolutely. And that's
Yeah.
that's the hardest time, I think, for kids when you are most isolated, because hormonally what happens is you have to separate from your parents. And so,
Right.
your structure of what is safe becomes your peers, and they're not always
Hmm.
safe.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I can really relate to that in a big way.
Yeah. Well, I,
I think you
I,
can. Yeah.
I've heard before that generally the funniest and kindest people are the ones who have gone through something in their life to turn them towards kindness.
Yeah.
So it always makes me so sad to, hear when someone's gone through something, but I'm so grateful for people like you who are kind to newcomers and everything. I strive to be like that. I
Oh,
aspire to that.
well, I think you're doing a great job. Um,
Thank you.
yeah, it's so interesting. So for anybody that's just tuning in that doesn't know what we're doing, this is a show that's called Alicyn's Wonderland. It's an IGTV show, IG Live, but it's also a podcast that's going to be launching in 4 weeks. This is, I guess, I'm
Really?
announcing it. Yeah. So it's going to
Congrats.
be an audio podcast as well. So if you guys like interviews with people that work in animation and video games, not just voice actors, but show creators, storyboard artists, animators, go ahead and subscribe. And we do these once a week. So yeah, thanks for joining live. But back to you, Kellen. So I know you started taking Bob's. Was Bob sort of your first professional VO workshop, or had you taken other
Yep.
workshops? I know you have an extensive, I was looking at your website, you have an extensive list of training credits and credits, and that's
Yeah, that all
why I
happened
started.
afterwards. Bob was definitely the epicenter there. I
He's,
had taken acting
mhm.
workshops, but never voice acting. So once I got into the 6 week course with Bob, my perspective changed. And then I told him right there that it changed my life. And he said he never heard that before. And I don't know if he even believed me, but it did. It absolutely did change my life because it taught me that everybody has the misconception, and it's fine to have the misconception as long as you know that it's not about the voice, it's about creating a character. And
Yeah.
that comes from acting.
Hmm.
It You can do a funny voice all day, but if you don't have the chops to back it up, so definitely the acting stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and he taught me that, and the classes I took right after, Richard Horvitz taught me that. I did private classes with Charlie Adler back when he did that. He's incredible
Yeah.
and very vulgar, but that's part of his charm. Love the guy. Um,
Absolutely. Yeah,
and just
Bob was
plenty
on
of
the show
others.
not too long ago, actually.
Really,
Yeah.
really,
So
he's
it's funny.
fun.
I took his show as his class. I took his class as well, and Lorraine Newman was even in my class at the time.
Oh, wow.
So that's where the pros go to train. That's where everybody goes to
Hmm.
train. If you guys aren't following Bob Bergen, he's on Instagram, and you should definitely check him out. He's an amazing teacher. For him to be able to
Hmm.
take what he does and show you, and it's not just a bag of tricks. Sometimes you need a bag of tricks, and he's got those
Yeah,
too, but he
sure.
helps coach you to what's important, really physicalizing the character and getting in there and like,
Hmm.
to
Using your whole body.
yeah.
And he's still the only class, I think, where we all fake auditioned for an all together ensemble read of a TV script, and he cast us all based on our separate auditions. It was so fun, and they were live auditions. It's like that
Ah,
never happens anymore.
I wish
It
we
was
could
the
do that
best.
again. We should take this
One
class
day
again at
we
the
should,
same
just for
time. It'd be
fun.
so fun.
There is a huge wait list, but it's so worth it.
I know. And yeah, he's doing private coaching now too.
Oh, fun.
COVID. But
Right.
yeah, wow, yeah. So then you're taking his class at 16, you're a teenager, are you attending high school?
Yeah. For a while I did online high school
Oh, cool.
I think it was for my it was for my freshman and sophomore year.
Okay.
But after that, I sort of missed, talking to people. So I went back into actual real life high school for my well, not to say that homeschooling is an actual high school, but real life with other kids high school for my last 2 years. But all during that, I was training, and it I think the stride was hit after I left high school, but
Yep.
I'm glad that I sort of took the time in between homework and extracurriculars to start on that path, because
Yeah.
it definitely helped me a lot
Well, one
in the
of the things
future.
that really stood out to me was, I hear a lot of beginner demos, first demos, but yours,
Hmm.
I mean, really stood out in terms of the way that it showcased your talent. Did Chuck Duran produce your first demos? I'm trying to remember.
My very first one, yes, Chuck Duran
Yeah,
produced
and it was
it.
like he's a great producer, so
Sure.
sounded really great and
Yeah.
really showcased your skills. So yeah, so but then there's a chunk of time that I'm still accounting for, because no matter how talented you are in this business, it is hard. It is so
Yeah.
hard. You have to have someone give you your first opportunity, your first break. And so I was wondering,
Mhm.
what do you kind of account for as your first break?
My first break? Oh man, well, I mean, I had voiced in video games beforehand, but they were always online and stuff. There was this game called Zombie Vikings that was my first game that actually had a physical copy. So I take that as a milestone, but I'm pretty sure that my first big break was Five Nights at Freddy's back in 2016. It
Okay.
would
And
take 3 years after I left high school to do
did
it.
you have an agent?
No, that was
Hmm.
back. I that was definitely before agent. I only got a solid agent maybe a year or two ago. I got all the rest of the stuff through friends and casting pools and stuff, but that one was through a friend. Sent it my way at about, man, it must have been. I all I remember is I had a long night before, and then they sent me it about 3 hours after I went to sleep. So I just gave it all of my energy and then crashed for uh, another 10 or so, and woke up at 6 p.m. to the email that said I got it.
You
That I
got
was
both
Funtime
the same
Freddy.
day?
Yeah.
So who was it another voice actor? Was it somebody you want to thank or anything? Like
The friend? Oh boy.
just somebody you
If it's someone that I'm mentally blocking them out, because this business, you can make a lot of friends and you can rub a lot of people the wrong way. So, it's best to just silently go another way. But I'm pretty sure, no, I can't remember for the life of me. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah,
I was just curious because, to be able to get a good opportunity. And I have to
for
be
sure.
completely honest, Five Nights at Freddy's was not really on my radar. I've heard you talk about it. I've heard other voice actors reference it. And then I started to
Hmm.
go down um, a rabbit hole of watching gameplay on
Oh
YouTube,
boy.
Five Nights at Freddy, and that is a creepy game.
It is. Yeah,
It is creepy. So,
Markiplier definitely made his vast fortune off of it. But yeah, no, it was something that was always, sort of creepy to everyone, the whole lifeless animatronic thing, and then finally sort of expanded upon. But yeah, no, it was all my life. Going back to middle school, they would always take the Asperger's as creepy. So I think I sort of channeled a bit of that for this. So the weakness has become the strength.
oh, isn't that true in life?
Yeah,
What
the
what
weaknesses can become the strengths.
what do you think? Why do you think that that game became such a success and has turned into such a cult classic?
Got me the true reason. Maybe it's the colors, maybe it's the fact that everyone grew up with a Chuck E. Cheese or a Showtime Pizza, or what was it called? Showbiz Pizza. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, or
we had
something
Good
like that.
Times, or I think it was called Good Times, is like the local
Good
neighbor.
Times.
Yeah,
Was
Great
it
Times,
Pizza Time or something?
it was just
Or
Great
Showtime?
Times Family Fun Center with the
Something like that. But
skee
maybe
ball.
it's the fact that, or maybe it's the fact that everybody can create their own, or all the lore behind it, because there are so many mysteries that surround the lore of it. Like the whole thing is based on like reports of like gruesome accidents with the animatronics. So maybe it's the intrigue of that, the conspiracy theorist in all of us. Um, who knows? But I think it's just the right combination of thrill seeking and storytelling and design to make a phenomenon. And it's very hard to recreate that spark.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
congratulations. How do you feel about doing your character's voice?
Oh, Funtime Freddy? Yeah, I think that I remember taking Hannibal Lecter as a bit of inspiration, but the original side said someone that your kids would love, but your parents would be uneasy around. Um, I think I combined Krusty the Clown elements. I don't know. I can't remember how my tired brain thought after 3 hours of sleep, but it just sort of came out as come here, I have a surprise for you. Something like that. But I never knew that it was going to be the first ever Freddy to get a voice. Because there are multiple Freddys. There's Funtime Freddy, uh, Molten Freddy, regular old Freddy Fazbear, Phantom Freddy, to so many. But Funtime Freddy was the first to ever get a voice, and I thank my lucky stars every day for that. I I was really excited then, and I'm really excited now. Even was it 5 years later now? 6, something like that.
I guess if it was 2016, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so interesting. If I know there's obviously a lot of banter, and thank you guys so much for chiming in on the timeline. There is a box at the bottom for questions. If you have questions for Kellen, go ahead and put them in the box, and I will do my best. We're going to save about 10 minutes at the end of the interview for audience questions. So feel free to put them in here. So from there, Five Nights at Freddy's comes out, and then was it an instant explosion in terms of fans, or was it a bit of a sleeper?
I think it was pretty quick, because I made that tweet with the hashtag and everything, and suddenly people were finding me left and right, because there was even a pretty sizable fan base back then. It's only grown since then, and I'm really grateful for that too. But man, I think it gradually increased over time, but it was a pretty big explosion. I the little star meter thing on IMDb.
Yeah.
Sometimes I look at that, and I think Funtime Freddy, when that was added, is still the highest star meter that I ever was. I can't remember what it was though, but yeah, it was pretty fast and pretty wild. Yeah, I remember I got my first.
Tom Cruise.
No, not even. I am a Z list, if that. But I remember I got my first con invite not too long after, and that sort of got the whole gang together. I met all of the castmates that had joined on as well, and that was wild as well. And it was the first of many. There were a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's con appearances. So very, very grateful for that.
Well, for everyone that's tuning in live, give me a thumbs up if you mainly found Kevin from Five Nights at Freddy's, or if it's a different project, type that in. I'm curious to see how you guys are connected.
Sure.
Yeah, so I'm also sure. So from there, what was your next big project?
From there, I attached myself to anime slowly but surely. I got
And how
into
did you
more of
go about
those.
that? Getting anime. Were you working with a dubbing house in LA? Were you contacting people in Texas or?
It started with Bang Zoom, as it usually does, for people out here. Back in, I forget how long ago it was, but Anime Expo used to have live auditions there in front of Bang Zoom's casting director, Mami Okada. And she
Wow.
sort of brought me in for a live audition after I did that. That was a lot of fun. That was the same one that Kaylee Mills, a lot of my colleagues got on there from there. And, I didn't really hear anything for a while. I got that extra role now and again here and there. But, after I sort of built up some credits there and online and all around wherever I could find them, there was this one convention where I met a very, very kind, talented lady named Colleen Clickenbeard. And we were on a panel together, and she asked me for my email address afterwards. And about a year later, I got auditions for a tiny show. I don't think many people have heard it, called My Hero Academia. And I I had just gotten back from this wild convention, Dragon Con, and I had gotten some bronchitis from it, unfortunately, because I wasn't careful. But the auditions came, so I powered through it for 6 hours and came up with something I thought might work.
What do you mean six
And
hours? You were auditioning. You were in the booth for 6 hours
it
working.
was it took 6 hours to sound not sick, is what I mean. I tried and tried and tried again.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Huh.
yeah, but it was worth it because from that I was cast as Overhaul, who is the villain for season 4, the first part at least, and that definitely helped.
Yeah,
Hans
so
came
tell
in
us,
from there.
for
Yeah,
those of our audience members that might not be familiar with the show, can you tell us about it?
sure. So, My Hero Academia is a universe where it's weird not to have superpowers. Everyone has at least one power. And Overhaul sort of comes in. He thinks that powers are a sickness.
Hmm.
He thinks that he can create the cure for this widespread plague on humanity. Because mostly because he's a germaphobe, and then this whole superpowers thing technically is a disease, it like any other, but that only has positive effects. That was developed in rats, and then partially because his foster father is the leader of this big crime organization of Yakuza called the Shiei Hisaikai that he takes over while his father is in a coma. But since superpowers came around, sort of all of the crime was expunged because there were so many superheroes. So he's trying to bring us back to the good old days, But he eventually gets beaten up and everything. But he's very scary. He thinks that the concept of heroes and villains is insanity and everything, and he just wants to go back to normal people. And his superpower is the ability to sort of, by a touch, disassemble something on a molecular level, usually with a bunch of blood. And then if he does it within 10 minutes, he can put it back together and if he does put it back together, that thing will be good as new. No illnesses, no back pain, nothing. But usually he just leaves them exploded because he can do it with a touch. That's why he wears gloves to, he can only do it if it comes in contact with his skin. So very scary guy.
Yeah. So, and then where can people watch this show?
This is on Funimation.com. It was on Cartoon Network for a run. I don't know if they'll ever rerun it again, but it's mostly now on Funimation.com and Hulu.
And Hulu. Okay, Hulu.
Yeah.
Great. Sounds like I maybe shouldn't show it to my son just yet, though, but
maybe not. I mean, it always depends. It's definitely it's a pretty violent show.
Yeah, okay. He's 5, so
not yet.
Did you feel and again, I probably should have asked you in advance how you feel about getting put on the spot to do voices, but we're voice actors. So.
Oh yeah, no worries. He's not that far off from my normal voice. It's just that I was a bit sick at the time, so I have to recreate that growl. But his catchphrase is, "You're all sick. What you need is a cure." He's very soft-spoken like that.
What you need is a cure.
What you need. Yeah, exactly.
You need
there you go. You can be my double if you like.
I'll be
that was pretty good.
Your evil sister.
Yeah. Sheaverhall or something. I don't know.
Shoverhall.
Something.
Oh, that's so.
Or his name is Chisaki. You can be Shisaki.
Shisaki.
Yeah.
So from there, I mean, were more and more doors starting to open up for you? I know that
more and more.
This talent agency, definitely a top talent agency in Los Angeles.
That came later. That took a bit of fighting. I was at another agency, and that sort of got me a bit more to work with. And then, it with agents now, you really have to prove yourself to get in the door. But once you do, you're there. But the next one after that, going back to Mami Okada, she noticed that I could play the gang leader thing. So I got sides for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where the main villain, coincidentally, was a mob boss. And I read for that, and I booked it.
Typecast again.
Typecast once again, yeah. One day I'll play, nice people. I really want to be a good guy or a protagonist one day. But, that was Diavolo, who is the leader of the Passione, the crime syndicate at the time. I think it's the 90s in Italy. And he is absolutely scary. He's very screamy. He is obsessed with being able to control his past and sort of wiping out any sort of inkling of himself from the past, so that he has full control over his life and the future and everything. And yeah. And
not
in JoJo,
not anymore though.
Nope. He would be so if he hadn't gone in the anime, he would be so in hell with the internet. But in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, everyone, well, not everyone, but a good amount of people have superpowers, and they manifest as objects, as armor, but mostly as these sort of puppets behind you, these full-bodied, here, I'll show you mine. So, and they're all named after rock groups and music groups. So Diavolo's is King Crimson, or Emperor Crimson, based on where you are in the world, and that's his face. And he gets very angry, so I wanted to bring that raw anger for it, and I hope I did. But his power is to sort of control fate. He can rewind time, take certain parts of it, alter it in his favor, sort of.
No,
But he can like rewind time for a minute and then make it go his way in his timeline.
so checking in with the audience right now. If you are a fan of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, give me a thumbs up. I'm curious to see who mainly found you through that project.
And funny thing, you had Griffin Burns on recently, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Griffin. So Diavolo also, if all of that wasn't enough, he's also a split personality in one body. And Griffin plays the other personality, Doppio. So they sort of switch, they sort of, how Doppio, but Doppio is, you know, his boss's right-hand man, even though they're in the same body. So to communicate with Diavolo, he uses random inanimate objects as a phone to call himself with. So it would be like, yes, hello, this is Doppio, you know, stuff, anything. He'll pick up anything and use it. And he's picked up like frogs and like ice cream.
Diablo.
Yeah, exactly. But he'll just call me boss always.
I'm gonna call you
but
boss
yeah,
from now on. Hey, boss. What's up, boss?
that's what Zeno Robinson calls me, bossu. But yeah, so that's pretty much him. Very, very scary, crazy man. And his whole thing was based off of how his Stan's name, that's what they're called, Stans, their superpowers. How his Stan's name is King Crimson. His whole thing was based off the song 21st Century Schizoid Man by King Crimson. So the guy who writes this stuff, so creative.
There's a lot of drugs.
It's a lot, yeah.
Well, I'm curious. I know I want to make sure that we save enough time for audience questions, but something
Sure.
that I'm very, curious about is both you and Griffin. You've done such a great job of building a community online. You have you do Twitch, you have Instagram, you have Twitter, TikTok. What are some of the ways that you think have really contributed to that awesome community?
I mean, the fans are always amazing, so great, so talented, artists everywhere. And I love the memes that are created, even if the contracts don't allow us to say anything in our character voices that are out of character, usually. Just, much to the fervor of people who ask for I don't know, Funtime Freddy to curse or whatever. Can't do that. But yeah, I think, man, it's just the people who are so passionate about everything that we do, voice acting, all the parts of it, the series, the character, conventions were always a great way to meet people. And hopefully one day we can go back to that. Not anytime soon for me, I'm afraid. I don't, even with a shot, I personally don't feel like I'm going to be comfortable being around a lot of people at once for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think see, and then Twitch and everything. But I mean, I don't think I can even take credit. I think everybody just sort of came together on their own love for what we're doing, and I'm just thankful to them every day that they've become a part of my life, because that has just been a multiplier for my drive and my passion for this, to not only create something that I like and my friends like, but to create something that makes everyone proud and makes everyone more passionate about this. I just think it's, geekdom is a kingdom, and we're all in it.
Well, and you're showing up. You're putting in the time,
Mm-hmm.
you're putting in the work.
Sure.
to be there. And, you know, you're doing how many Twitches this week? Like
Who knows?
three,
Well,
four?
not this week. I'm taking a break this week, but except for this weekend where me and Griffin are actually doing a signing, a Jojo event on Streamily, if you
Oh,
guys want to be part of that. Um,
okay.
but
Send me info and I'll share it to my Instagram stories.
sure. Yeah, it's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and there's going to be panels, and we're going to be signing whatever you'd like us to sign. We all got our own prints. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I've never signed live on stream before, so that's going to be a first for a lot of us. But excuse me, sorry, what was the question before? Oh yeah, putting in the time. No, nothing in this life worth doing isn't going to be something that you will fail at multiple times and then finally come out succeeding and realize that you're a different person, maybe a better person, because you've put in all that effort to recreate yourself into something you want to be. That's why I think that, you know, humans are limitless. Whatever you want to do, as long as you put in the time, 10,000 hours makes you a master. That's what my dad said. So that's what I'm aiming for.
You're there by now, right? 10,000 hours is 10 years full time. I mean, if you've been going since
Who knows? I've been at this for 12 years, I think.
yeah.
If I started in 2006, then yeah,
Wow.
somewhere around there. Somewhere around there. But yeah, if you want something, work at it until you get it. And if you find yourself wanting something else, then maybe that thing before, just life is life is what you want it to be. It is never too late to start on a new adventure. That's how I feel.
Guys, he's only like 26, so don't.
I feel 54.
Jeez, then I guess I'm 70.
No, man, you have the energy of a 16-year-old.
That's true. That's true. I am a middle schooler at heart, but not the mean kind.
No, keep the child at heart, not the mean kind.
Just a child at heart. I did also want to ask, I mean, I'm interested in hearing your take on this. What makes you inspired? What are some things that really light you up? It seems obviously you're deep into your work. Your work is your passion, and
Sure.
Your creativity. But is there any other things that light you? Is this your entire world, or do you have other interests, hobbies, things you enjoy doing?
I mean, no, I don't think that work should be anyone's entire world, because then where can you draw other inspiration?
Yeah.
Right. So I love video games. I'll put them all in as much spare time as I can. I love superhero movies. I'm obsessed with the Marvel universe, and that inspires me. But I think all of that comes back to other people's work inspiring me. I like to see what other people do with their talents and with this medium. I love hearing what my friends do. I love hearing what people I don't care for do. I love seeing what people that I will never meet do. I just like to watch what everybody else is doing, whether they're an actor or not. I spent a lot of time at malls just watching how people held themselves and reacted to others, to sort of find for myself how to be, how to create a new person for myself with the Asperger's that I have. Sort of see what it takes to be a human being without it, and then mold myself into something completely new. And I think that really is what a lot of inspiration and life in general is, just splatting different things you see others do and you see happen in life together and creating something hopefully that no one's ever done before. I think that life is a giant painting and it takes many paints to create something completely unique.
Yeah, baby. Blue and red, let's make some purple. Speaking of colors, segue. Let's add some colors from the audience. I know we have a variety of questions in the box. I'm sure there'll be a lot of repeats. And thank you, everybody.
Nice segue.
Added some stories, added questions in my stories. Let's see. Are you... This is a very popular question that comes out. First of all, everybody that wants a birthday, that wants a high five, that wants a shout out, let's do a big group birthday high five shout out right now, Kellen.
Sure. High five, happy birthday. Usually it's from Funtime Freddy. Happy birthday. Oh, here's the Q&A.
Okay. Now, there was a lot of those, so I just wanted to cover our bases. Now, what advice can you give to people wanting to get in voice acting? We talked a lot about your story, but what would be like maybe 3 things that you would say, try these things? These could be helpful.
Well, first, I always say that Dee did a better job than I ever could answering this question with iwanttobeavoiceactor.com.
Yeah.
That's pretty comprehensive. So iwanttobeavoiceactor.com if you want better answers than you're going to get here. Taking improv classes and musical theater helped me so much. Musical theater to sort of create worlds that weren't there. That was a lot of good practice for that. I could sort of visualize everything in a performance by the time we were done with it, and that comes into play a lot with voice acting. So definitely musical theater, and then improv is great because directors are always going to want you to try something, you know? So you gotta be able to give them something that maybe they would have never thought of. And practicing improv helps build that muscle a lot.
Zip.
So yeah. I guess that can be
joke.
2 and 3.
Zip.
Yeah, zip, zap. Sorry, I'm
game. Yeah.
I haven't zip zap zap in a while.
Zap, zap. Yeah.
Oop.
Yeah, I think that covers it. I want to make sure we get back to it. Oh, a lot of high fives. A lot of people. I think this is an interesting question, and I actually was wondering this myself. What do you like to eat? What kind of food do you eat? What's your favorite food?
Oh man. Well, I'm mad into pickles. I adore pickles so much. Huh. 'Cause I'm a good Jewish boy, and my grandma fed me my first pickle when I was a baby, and I never went back. I even almost went to the hospital. Well, I did go to the hospital one time because my parents thought that it would be a good idea to get a Christmas ornament of something I loved and then leave me alone in the room with it. So they had to get me to throw up a glass pickle. But
oh no, I have
my
glass pickle.
I love Fuji apples. I love sharp cheese. The sharper, the better. Carrots. I love to eat carrots just from the bag. And my favorite dish would probably be udon. I love Japanese food so much. So much. And udon just has a flavor that's like not recreatable for me. So I love udon.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, you're making me hungry. Also, audience, fun fact, Kellen and I lived in the same apartment complex, not at the same time. He was living in the apartment complex that I used to live in, and we could have been neighbors. But we actually are
we could have.
Funnily enough, Griffin's right around the corner too. We're gonna have to do a pool.
Oh yeah,
safe to do so.
Yes, please. Once we're safe.
Plenty of pickles.
Yes, pickles, all for me.
Just a shout out for Autism Awareness Month.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Autism Awareness Month is this month. I had something planned, but unfortunately life just makes a fool of us all. So I am going to try my best to get something special for you guys. But yes, happy Autism Awareness Month, guys.
Hey.
You wear.
This is just somebody who likes my earrings. I want to say thank you for the shout out. Hallelujah.
It is really cute. They look like dream catchers.
Can we get an owa owa?
Owa, owa. That's a TikTok thing.
Okay. Is that from your personal TikTok or is that a...
No, there's this dog that I called Pudgy, and it's this really old Chihuahua, and he gets mad at everything, but the sound that he always makes to get people the back of is like that's
I think it's more like a parrot. I'll make a TikTok of this.
yeah.
Okay, cool. This is just, I'm learning so much today, guys. Does this make any sense? Thoughts on Peak? Is this
on Peak? So in Attack on Titan, which is my newest, I think it's okay to say sizable role, because he turns in, well, I'd have to explain the whole thing. We don't have time, but Peak's his love interest. I want Porco, who I play, and Peak to be a couple so bad. They're so cute together. But I can't say canon because all I do is dub the voice into English. I don't have any say on the story. But yeah, Peak best girl.
Aw, that's so great. So many questions, guys. A lot of the same questions. Let's see. What's your favorite anime?
I can't choose one. There's so many good ones. But my earliest favorite anime?
Yes, that's a good way.
I really, really love one called Bobobo. It's I think it's safe to say it's the base of a lot of my humor, because it was just random. It can't even begin to describe it. It is just so freaking funny because you never knew what to expect from it. I love that series so much. And then also Dr. Slump for the same reason. It's by the same guy who did Dragon Ball, but before. It was so good. Right. What about you? Yokai Watch?
Yokai Watch. Yokai.
I have all the watches from that. I have all the watches from that show, by the way.
Oh, really?
As toys. They're still in storage because I never really got to unpack from when I moved before everything started. But yeah, I used to collect Yokai Watch medals.
That's so funny. Yeah, my son
cool
has
show.
them all now. He's like slowly making me like unwrap, like unbox all the stuff that Five gave me, and like, Mommy, can I open this? And I'm like, no, like that's gonna be where and then he makes me open it, and then he just like throws it on the ground. So
that's a dream. That's a dream for me to contribute to that show in any way. It is so cute.
Aww.
Yeah.
One of these days. Okay, we're gonna take one last question. Let's see. All right, this was, we did cover this a little bit, but maybe we can take this from a final angle, because I don't know if we exactly laid it out. But what is your motivation? What drives you?
That's a really good question. My motivation
is pickles.
Pickles, yes. I really want... I think at the bottom of it all, I really just want to make my dad proud, because he put so much support for me and so much into my career, and he's my best friend. I just want to show him that what he invested in was worth it. And I really want him to, be proud of what he's left behind, I guess.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
hopefully. Hey, are you tuning in live, Dad? No.
He might. He watches my streams.
You'll have to show him that clip. I'm sure it'll mean a lot to him.
He and I wouldn't dare get that sappy. We usually just talk about Steely Dan.
Steely Dan, that's great.
Yeah, old stuff. He taught me how to play guitar.
Nice.
That's the creative part of him. He was a studio musician. He plays jazz guitar, and he is so good at it.
So he was a jazz guitarist until he turned 30, and then he was like an entertainment attorney? What an interesting...
Yeah, then he went... He didn't really think that there was much of a future in it, so he switched to entertainment law. But he'll still play every now and again, and boy, can he!
Oh,
he is so good.
I'm gonna hear you play too. Maybe next.
Oh
week.
Gosh,
I
don't know where my guitar even is.
I had Hope Levy on the show a few weeks ago, and we went back and forth.
Oh, yeah?
And we each played songs. It was such a cool format. It's like a musical wonderland. So if you ever want to come back on and play a song, let me know.
Hey, when we get that pool party, Griffin can bring his too, and we can have a guitar circle like the 70s.
Oh my God! Yay! 2020! So before you go, I have a new question I'm incorporating where I want to ask every guest this question, and it kind of is a nice segue. If there is a song in your heart, what would the title of that song be?
Oh, man. Oh, man. If there was a song in my heart, what would the title be? I know what the name of the band who would sing it would be.
Oh, tell me.
Dill Voltage. Or Dill Trickle, something like that. But the song in my heart, man. Scream in a Closet.
What's up next on the radio? We got Scream in a Closet by Dill Voltage.
Oh, man, that sounds like the ultimate AC/DC cover band or something, or Guns.
Yeah.
GNR.
Kellen, thank you so much for coming on Alicyn's Wonderland. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in live. Kellen, where can people find you online?
Well, this Instagram account, at Kellen Goff.
Yeah.
And then it's the same on Twitter, where I'm a bit more active. I like the format of Twitter better because I don't always have a picture, but I always have words. So I'm on Twitter at Kellen Goff, and then TikTok at Kellen Goff, and my streams are twitch.tv/Kellen Goff. And then that's where we're going to be doing autographs this weekend. If you are so inclined and want one of these, I actually just got them in, if you want to see them real quick. All laid out for you.
Show.
Yeah. So there's Diavolo and his stand, Crimson. And then Hoodlum, Senpai. There's the Freddys, Molten Freddy and Funtime Freddy. And then here's Porco from Attack on Titan. He turns into that, and he's humongous. So yeah, if you want any of these, come by this weekend. You can pre-order now on streamily.com/Kellen Goff.
Yay! Well, thanks for everybody for tuning in. Next week we have Elle Newlands from Apex Legends is going to be our guest. She's awesome. She's done a ton of stuff, and yeah, we're really excited. We have a whole host of people coming up. We have Juliet Donenfeld is going to be on in 2 weeks. She's the youngest voice actor to ever be nominated for an Annie Award. She's Cakey on the new Gabby Stallhouse on Netflix. So yeah, make sure you subscribe, and I'll go ahead and post the replay so that you can check it out later. So I want to say thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Bye, Kellen.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.